order the meeting. This is the Economic Development Commission meeting of Thursday, January 9th. 6 a.m. President Sato, we have Justin back in joining us via Zoom, but yet not be able to make the minutes. That everyone's not. Happy New Year.
Well, just welcome everyone. Thank you, Justin and Kenny, for sticking with it. I'm assuming you're training everybody in, but I'll just get straight to it.
Yeah, we're going to skip over the minutes. We'll need to approve those perhaps later if others join. Mind, I'll share my screen. As a guest speaker for the Economic Outlook Breakfast. Helpful for me to kind of go through this. I'll share with the chamber. All of you know the work that we're doing here are important, but a small but mighty team of three and a half people, $70,000 budget, which is 1/10 of 1%. Yeah, so in any event, our focus on economic development, as you know, capital interaction, town government. We also obviously work to attract to our community. So that is all. It's a great place to live, work, play, raise a family, start a business. It isn't that marketplace. Communities like Fairfield competing for talent, work, sets Fairfield apart. Entities that you find in much larger communities with very highly educated, really does differentiate the cultural vitality of not just the town but the region. Rising talent. Set the apart. 2024 was another busy year. We had this is not an exhaustive list because this is not required to register with our office. These are those that reached out or that we're aware of, typically retail oriented or business consumer businesses. Awareness. Close in that $3 million grant to help replace SBA, small business development. Working to expand our relationship with both universities and various initiatives to provide on-campus opportunities. Sell directly to student, faculty, and staff. And we've expanded, continue to reinforce our buy local campaign. Last year, we talked about a couple different projects that were in construction. Is the veterinary hospital. All these projects. Middle pictures are the 100-unit apartment building. Parkway. This was a significant milestone for us because it put us over the threshold to qualify and apply for. Pictures are factory site across from the road. This is a partnership between some other projects that are currently underway. We have first building under construction at Fairfield Black Rock train station. Expect that to be completed this year. Town hall. The new hall. A number, as you know, a number of auto dealerships, sales and service facilities, renovations and expansion of 251 Commerce Drive to move. Just go through quickly. Our unemployment rate remains at historic lows. Pretty much mirrors trends nationally and statewide, although it has only been about a workforce of about 30,000. But many also. Commercial building activity has not reached the highs that we saw. Somewhat rising cost of construction and rising interest rates, higher in 2021, some of this is obviously, this is commercial as well as institutional. So some of this is driven by seeing, building new sports arenas, 40 million, 50 million sports arenas. Just we have a little bit more diversity in terms of some of the permanent activities. Still see a lot of activity in events, so education uses, and office uses, and residential, so construction. Permits in December for you also see some development office. The office market is good. I mean, our sub-market is quite small compared to some markets. Very low. Change the prior year, we did see some county, which was helpful. Business district. Part of that's reductions in inventory as older office buildings are converted for other uses, but part of it is easy. I include this because there's been a lot of talk about, and we see a lot of evidence of housing construction, which is driven by state statute 8-32, so we've seen an increase in number of applications recently. Right, 8.4 million. It's next in March. New applications. And we definitely have seen a change in the type of housing being 10 years, 2014. It's a lot more diverse. Now, part of it, mix.
No, I was curious if there's an opinion like. Yes.
Too much.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think the market will drive that to some degree. We haven't seen, it's spaced out, as you can see. It's not like we're adding 1,000 units a year. 150, 100. You know, it's a pretty big community, so still the dominant housing typology is single family. 85%, 77% for single family. So that's not going to change anything. So it is really helpful, I think, to provide. We don't see the demand for. We talked about this before. You all know we have about 1.5% of land. So my point here, when we talk to the Board of Finance about increasing the grand list, it takes a lot. You know, grand list growth is driven by infrastructure, building efficiency. And have new businesses moving in and occupying a space. They bring a whole load of personal property with them. So the point is, if you're trying to grow the grand list, to grow at 1%, with a $12 billion grand list, it requires $170 million value. That's a lot. So we're not going to see, you know,
especially since we don't have much space for them to grow.
Yeah, where's that going to happen? Well, that's definitely what drives it, but when we talk when you're talking about growing it by expanding the tax base, you're talking about building funds. You have to build a lot of it in terms of valuation. I also shared this with the Board of Finance. Land is a finite and very valuable resource here. When you have land selling for upwards of $2 million an acre, it makes sense to try, if you're trying to increase your tax yield, for example, tax yield per acre, it makes sense to look at things, maybe a traditional retail grocery store anchor retail plaza, giant parking lot around, consumes a lot of land. Obviously, you lose a lot of taxes. The property taxes more vertically development. We've gone through a couple of these sites. I'll talk a little bit more about them. Next side is, you know, No, I know the next year that's my point. That 6 acre site, you're proposing. It's a very nice auto sales and service facility. It's more utilization of a limited resource in the sense that you're taking all that property to build a house. But it's definitely consistent with our exclusive building. My guess is that if we sell or either way, no information. Metro. That first building is under construction. So, guess is that they do have. It was across the street. This one's unexpected. Close the first quarter this year. Traffic commission. Brownfield grant. It's $100 million project. Close. First quarter of this year, under construction. Structure. Yeah. The illicit thing, I think, have not accustomed to use. See people parking. It's across the street. Well, there isn't a whole lot of activity before it came on. Still. So that's incentivized. Site, which is the surfing property. So I need to estimate. That's right now at 5.25. So that's like 150 units. That's $7,000 a year. That's one. So I think, again, we're all waiting to see this construction process. Positional, though, on the other hand, we've heard a lot of not one side as it might appear. That's how to do it, right? Good. That's largely what I wanted to cover. We do have a requirement to provide in report. Kind of a what we did, what it's been through. Not just things that I'd like to propose. Two things. A while since we did that capital matchmaking event. Part of that, broader, more varied small business resource fair. And the event space on the second floor above the Fairfield University store would be a great place to host that. And I think that would be fairly easy for us to put together. Again, it's really connecting small businesses with resources at the federal, state, local, and private lending levels that can assist them. And so I think, again, that might be something we want to consider for the fall. The other thing, I've had some conversation, I know Ken's done some work on this in the past, is that I think there's an opportunity to look at, and I have here, examine opportunities to leverage strategic town assets by analyzing market demand for the highest and best use. I know Kenny had looked at a bunch of different sites, but one in particular I'd like to focus our attention on is the Mill Plain Road parking lot. I think, if Kenny would be willing to help me and I'll work with Steve as a smaller working group, come up with a white paper on that. I think that would help drive a broader conversation. The intent would be that we would look at the opportunity that presents itself, describe the site, its setting, the opportunities as well as challenges. And then the recommendation would be for the first selectman to appoint a multidisciplinary team, use committee, if you will, standing task force that would examine that in more detail and hopefully at some point lead to, if they determine to be excess to the town's requirements, an RFP. But you need to take a couple steps before you get to an RFP, not to waste people's time. But I think what would help jumpstart that conversation is just for us to define the opportunity. I think, Kenny, with your background in commercial real estate, we can work together to help put that together.
I'm happy to do that. That's sign me up.
Would love to. I'm in.
Cool. So maybe we can grab a beer at some point and figure out how to do that. But again, I think we were talking about a lot of different sites, but if we focus on one to start, I think that's a real great opportunity for us. Very visible site. We've talked about the limitations of it, but let's start there. And I've talked to the First Selectman's office, and I believe they would be receptive to somebody at least putting it on the table, saying, here's something. What do we want to do with this?
Currently, the town owns the site. It's used as excess parking quite often. So it's a matter of either trying to develop it through the town or even just sell it outright.
I think the town, well, we could decide all that, but I think it's more likely that the town would want to do a ground lease, not to divest itself of ownership, but I think it would be open, I think it would be up to us to define what the opportunity is. But I'm suggesting a ground lease to an operator that would develop something consistent with what we see the market demand and what our community goals might be. The hotel could be additional residential. I mean, we can look at it from a market demand standpoint, but also, what's
Missing in town.
what's missing? Exactly. What's the gap? So I think, and then, obviously you have to work, there's always sensitivity with the neighborhood in which it's situated. So you have to take into account that, but also.
It's tucked in there.
Right.
It's a beautiful neighborhood.
It is. And so you want to do things that's sensitive to that. You certainly want to involve them in the process.
Do they have an association or?
They don't. Yeah. So, but I think it's more, I think that would be down the road. I think the first thing is, let's look at the site, define what it is, what's the land use regulations, what's the market demand, what would impact positively and negatively development opportunities for it. And, again, it's stuff that, Kenny, you do all the time. I'm sure for your clients, I get these marketing packages all the time in terms of, hey, look at this site. Here's the demographics in a 5, 10, 15-minute radius. So I think that would be a position. I would think that's an opportunity for this commission and a role that we could easily play to help bring it, bring awareness to it and put it on the table and create, discussion, dialogue.
No, I think that's a great project. I think that's what we're obligated to do as part of this commission.
Anything else from either you, Justin, or Kenny that you'd like to be working on this year? Or?
We talked about like the exit ramps and stuff. I still have to
Oh, yeah, right.
So I will. It's on my.
And then the other thing I was thinking of too, you won't have to decide this today, but if there are other speakers, and we've had speakers come in, we've done meetings at various locations. We were just at Sacred Heart. I would expect to work with Jennifer Anderson to see if we can arrange a similar tour either at Fairfield University on campus or at their new building downtown, 1720, just to get an update as to what they envision, what's going on campus. But if there's other speakers or events that you'd like us to incorporate into our agenda, let me know.
Okay, give it some thought.
And Beverly's not able to join today because she's got her retreat today, which is where I'm heading next. So they're having their chamber board retreat at Sacred Heart. So I'm heading up there after this, but she apologizes. Again, what's probably close. What she would report is the Economic Outlook breakfast on the 30th of this month. And if anyone's interested in attending, just let me know. The featured speaker is John Trainer, who is a great speaker. He will talk about the economic outlook from a global national perspective.
Who's the largest employer in town?
So the largest employer outside of the town board of ed, if you find those, would be the largest private employers would be Fairfield University and Sacred Heart University, both of which are over 1,000 employees. And then you jump down, probably next would be Penske Auto Group employs several hundred people here in town. It's actually a surprising number between all their dealerships and their service facility. Evolution Gaming, very quiet. They're a content provider to like DraftKings. They're located over at 777 and 1375 Kings Highway, 777 Commerce Drive. continue to expand. They employ about 300 people here in town. Amazing. They're 24/7. They're just providing, churning out content. I'm not a gambler, but apparently there's a high demand for this content that they provide to people like DraftKings, just constantly.
Be great to get a tour of that location.
Yeah, it's a secure facility, but I'll see if I can arrange it. You would not. They literally, you walk in, it's like they've got cameras everywhere, a lot of security, because obviously it's a regulated industry, and and people always are trying to game the system,
No pun intended.
Right. But I will ask if we can, because it is an impressive operation, really, and you would know it from the outside.
Interesting to talk to, like helping to track account.
Yeah, that was a major concern of theirs, but they're drawing a lot of people in from the surrounding areas. They pay pretty well, but you have to have a certain personality because you're presenting a game to customers online, so you have to understand how to engage people through that medium. There's no one there physically. You're playing a game with a camera, and people are putting down their bets through that.
So they're actually have their gaming, they have dealers there.
Dealers.
Oh, okay, I thought
It's all virtual, So it's like a TV studio with, if you go to like a casino and there's a blackjack, you have a dealer that's dealing hands out, but it's all in a camera and you're interacting with people online.
I thought you were supplying content, meaning articles and recommendations.
No, this is actual content, like the DraftKings are then putting it out to their clients, and those people so they're providing the game content. I have people that are trained this, like the other part of the state where they're doing it in person, they're doing it. It is a very interesting operation. You would never know that it existed. They're a European company, and they've expanded into the States, and I think they're around 300 employees now, so it's quite significant. But yeah, Justin, it would be a fascinating tour if I can get in there.
Yeah. No, I'm down here in Florida, and I'm staying with a friend of mine who is a professional poker player. He plays every day. And he's doing it he does it in person. There's actually a poker room, 7-minute drive from here. And every day the place is filled with 100 guys or 90 or 100 guys playing poker.
Wow.
I like poker, but I'm small.
Not my thing, but I like poker. Clearly there's a market for it because these guys are growing. So it is an interesting setup for sure. Then we skip down even further, like Bigelow Tea, 125 employees. So, traditional manufacturing is like 100, 125 people. Like we have a few left. RBC Heim, Bigelow Tea. Merger doesn't actually manufacture here. It's Superior Trading is still in business. Manufacturers here. So there's a handful. Anything else?
Just an observation, the town has done a lot of capital improvement projects on the fields and stuff. I just like the pickleball courts in Townsend's Hill and the renovation of the bowling field there all over. I think it's great. I mean, I don't know what they're doing with the high school, the tennis courts right now. I always walk my dog by there. If there's ways to leverage that at some point, or the plan is, that'd be interesting to know more, but I guess.
I do have a capital planning group and now a capital projects management team that oversees these projects. I've been focused on, I think Kenny, you made this observation to me a long time ago, but downtown is a great downtown, but the streetscape is a little bit higher. It's been probably 50 years since that was installed. We've made some improvements over time, but kind of patchwork. It'd be nice to do a comprehensive update to that. It really is the shining jewel, I think, the downtown, and a refreshed streetscape. Yeah, I think something we should focus on. But it's not cheap. It's a state highway, so you have to deal with the
Oh.
state.
Sure.
And typically, those types of things are $1 million a mile type thing. So it's probably a couple $1 million project when we're all said and done. But I think, again, that investment into our
Right.
downtown would make a lot of
It's not
sense.
part of the town,
Yeah.
like in many ways, like.
Yeah, we're trying to drive a lot of activity, a lot of business activity there. It's our business center, arts and cultural center, so I think that it's small over there.
Just one thing, I have the Arts and Culture Commission, maybe connecting with them at some point to, if there's any support stuff there, in particular, if there's any synergy there. It's favorite.
We just filed our cultural district application with the Cultural District Alliance of Fairfield County. The idea was to create a downtown cultural district. Might attract some additional grant funding opportunities. But it's really more about marketing the town as a arts, cultural, vibrant community.
It is nice to see how they've settled in with like Shoe, the theater continues to have its lane as does the warehouse. They remain busy, but I think there was some skepticism like how much can you put in there?
Yep. Well, enjoy Florida, Justin. We're jealous because it's like 20 degrees up here.
Yeah, so I hear, and but it's a lot hotter in Los Angeles, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
My neighbors lost a house.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I have to check in with my sister.
I have
So far, it's outside of her neighborhood.
people I work with who have family there. We have a few West Coasters. And yeah, it's like, I can see the fire. I haven't leave yet, but I can still see it.
Fortunately, those things seem to be happening with increased regularity, so.
Well, they keep using up their water, so they don't have the water when they
Yeah.
need it.
That's crazy like
Like
that.
everything, you can't have it.
Exactly. All right, well, I won't hold you guys up. Thank you again, Kenny. We'll be in touch when you're available to get together with Steve and I, and
I will make myself available, just let me know.
all right, thanks, Kenny.
My pleasure.
It's 9:14 a.m. Perfect, thanks.
Thank you.